All right, hello everybody. It is
Hello.
Thanksgiving, not Thanksgiving.
Not even close. That's staying in too.
It is Valentine's
Yeah.
Day.
So Valentine's Day.
I know my holidays.
There's her roses.
So pretty.
So
this morning, he made me biscuits and gravy for breakfast.
what was lunch?
And we had some bacon too.
You had bacon.
You had...
I had a piece. You had the rest of the pound of bacon.
But it wasn't that much. Anyways, so I am making a special dinner that he doesn't get to know about. So this video is going to be a little different because only is going to have me in it for the cooking.
So here we go.
Alright guys, so just so you know what's going on, I almost always cook a surprise Valentine dinner. So I went a little lazy for the potatoes this year, but these twice baked potatoes sounded really good, so I'm getting those started here really soon. And I'm making this super yummy sounding honey sriracha glazed salmon, and I have some scallops that are thawing out and they are almost ready. I just haven't decided yet what I'm gonna do with them, whether I'm gonna do bacon wrapped or just have them in the garlic butter, but I'm gonna decide here soon. Alright guys, so I'm behind the camera, but I first wanted you to see this beautiful piece of salmon. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cook it whole as one whole piece, and then I'm going to cut it into fillets, and hopefully it will be good for the both of us. I'm trying to make sure that we can see everything here. Have to excuse the laundry basket in the background. We're also working on some laundry. So the first thing that we're gonna do, it looks like, is we're gonna make the sauce, and the sauce sounds so good. We both love spicier things. So this sauce has sriracha in it and honey, which is a little sweet, and I've never had that on salmon. So I need to get a 1/4 cup of honey. This is looking so good already, just all of these ingredients together. So this recipe was technically for, I believe, 4 pieces of salmon. So I'm kind of cutting a few things in half to make sure that I don't have too much. But if this sauce is super duper yummy, there's never too much. That's my saying. I love sauces. So I've got this honey going in, and I'm not going to turn it on right away because it doesn't say to turn it on, it just says to get it into a saucepan. So I'm assuming eventually we're going to be heating this up. I'm going to keep this handy just in case I need it again. So we have our honey, and then a tablespoon, which we seem to have lost along the way. So 1/2 and 1/2 is a whole, right? So 1/2 and 1/2 equals a whole. We're good there, right? So my scallops are over here, coming to room temperature, and I'm going to have to get those patted dry here pretty soon also. Oh, I almost forgot the soy sauce. It's been so long since we've used soy. So, let's see. How much soy sauce do I need? Because I completely forget. Soy sauce. Alrighty. teaspoons. I don't know why they didn't just say a tablespoon, because 3 teaspoons is approximately 1 tablespoon. But hey, whatever. Off there. Hopefully I won't need these teaspoons and tablespoons anymore. Let's see. And a hint of lime, which we always keep these lovely little bottles just in case we ever need a little bit of lime. They're perfect for when you don't want to have just limes that's sitting around the house. Just give it a couple squirts to cut through. Alrighty. So there's our sauce. It doesn't say to turn it on. So I'm just gonna let that sit there and let all of those flavors join together. In fact, I'll keep my spoon there. And it looks like my oven's ready. So like I said, I'm cheating on the potatoes because while twice baked potatoes sounded like an amazing idea, with the salmon and the scallops, I just didn't want to go through too much extra work, because otherwise I would be spending hours and hours in here. And these cook for quite a while, so I wanted to make sure that I started them soon. These are Kroger brand, by the way, and they look amazing. I'm actually surprised at how delicious a lot of the Kroger brand food is. So let's see. Do 50 minutes, which is quite a long time. Ouch, I forgot that was sitting on the vent. Whoever decided to have the vent on the back burner was not a very good designer. Okay. Middle shelf. And my lovely Google Assistant. Hey Google, please set a timer for 50 minutes.
Okay, 50 minutes. Starting now.
Wish I could have some music going, but apparently YouTube doesn't like that. All right, so we are seasoning the salmon now. You know, it says to measure it out, but when it comes to seasoning, I'm not much of a measurer. Sure, that's a word. Because really, it says a half a teaspoon, and is a half a teaspoon really going to be enough for this whole piece of salmon? Probably not. It says to do both sides. I'm not really sure why I'm gonna season the skin, but you know, we'll follow the directions for now. Make sure we get that all nice and even. And some pepper, which I have over here. You know, I love having freshly ground pepper, but this one does not work that well. So if anyone has any better ideas for pepper grinders that, you know, work, that would be wonderful to know. Okay. Flip it over to the skin side. And don't worry, I always wipe down my pepper grinder at the end. That way I don't have whatever juices are on my finger mixing in with any other food that we might eat later on with our pepper grinder. All right, so that looks pretty good. Let's see here. So we're gonna heat up a drizzle in our pan. Everything is always a drizzle. I wish I knew what a drizzle was. But now that we have these lovely drizzler caps, those are perfect. Let's see. Medium high heat. All right, so while that is heating up, I think I'm going to pat dry my scallops. So I'll be back. All right, so I don't really like the way it says to have this on upside down, because I've always done skin side down first. But you flip it fairly quickly. So here's to hoping that it works out okay. always go away from yourself. Ooh, that's a nice little sizzle. So then, while that's going, it says that it's going to be upside down for about 3 minutes, or golden. So whatever golden means. So, hey Siri, set a timer for 2 minutes.
Okay, 2 minutes and counting.
So I'm going over the edges here. So this is my biggest pan. There we go. And I'm saving this bad boy for my scallops. I love having a cast iron skillet. I know you don't see us use it much, but it is like the best thing ever. So I'm going to need 2 tablespoons of butter. Which I already brought out. And 2 for when I flip that over. And once that gets going, I think I'm going to start my scallops also. It seems like a fairly easy recipe though. It's not too bad to follow. This part makes me nervous, I'm not going to lie. Because it's always been skin side down. But it's a pretty thick fillet, so maybe starting it out upside down will be okay. Who knows? So once I flip it, I'll be warming up my sriracha too. Alright, so not bad. I guess I'll start flipping over to my other recipe here. Alright, that timer is done. It just makes me so nervous to do it this way. Let's go this way. I guess it does give it a nice little seared look on the top. So that's going to need some time to cook for a little bit. I want to make sure that that thick part on the inside gets cooked as much as possible. I'm going to add in my butter so it can start melting. And I have dried my scallops. Okay, here's the recipe. So I'm going to need another tablespoon of butter. And olive oil, of course. Olive oil is always a must. I'm going to grab a big spoon. Start that a little. Because I'm going to want some time for the salmon to rest also. In fact, it tells you to let the salmon rest before you even add the sauce to it. So, you know. Butter. Alright, that is looking super yummy. But I am not finding my second set of tongs. So I guess I will not be using tongs for my scallops. Well, I'll just use the same ones as my salmon. They're both fish, so whatever. So this is starting to melt, and it says to get it to a point of heat where it's almost smoking, which now that I'm moving my butter around, it is quite possibly reaching that point. So I know that scallops cook very, very quickly. And I have a feeling everything is going to be cooked a lot faster than I originally anticipated. So, you know, the potatoes are just going to be hanging out in the oven for a while. Whatever. Ouch. Keep that going with the butter. Looking really good. Oh. And that is just about perfect. You know, I'm actually going to check my internal temperature. I know it's not supposed to be cooked all the way quite yet. So let's see what the middle looks like. Alright, the middle is getting there. So I'm going to let that go for just a little bit longer. And we're going to get some scallops going, I think. So I just tossed them onto a paper plate. That way I knew the paper plate would absorb any leftover moisture that I had going. So now that my butter is melted, I'm going to add in some garlic powder. And we're going to get to searing. Now that did not quite give the searing sound that I was anticipating. Especially considering that the butter is bubbling. And my scallops are falling apart. Hopefully that's a good thing. Woo! That could have been a disaster. Alright, so we're going to let those go. Got room for these last two. Then I'm going to flip them. And add garlic to the top. Never ever cooked scallops before. I got this like homegrown recipe. We watch a lot of Gordon Ramsay, so this doesn't seem quite like the right way. And all the times we've watched, you know, Hell's Kitchen and such. But hopefully they'll at least turn out tasting pretty decent. Salmon looks like it's just about done. Check my temperature one more time. Alright, see where we're at. Oh yeah. Reaching 110, I think I'm going to go ahead and stop there. Salmon is one of those that can be slightly under. I'm going to put that onto the plate, turn off the heat, and turn on the sauce so that it can warm up. See if I can. Woo. This is going to be interesting. Oh boy. Okay, I am back and I have successfully gotten that salmon out of that pan. I did not want to look like a complete and total idiot on camera because I really struggled with all that butter pop. But I do have these scallops going. they're starting to boil a little. I need to, apparently our stovetop is not even because all of the butter is going to one side. So I think I'm gonna have to stand here and hold this for a minute. But it's bubbling. I turned on my sauce so that it can start warming up. And everything is smelling so good. Like the salmon alone smells delicious. So I read the salmon recipe again also. And apparently you can drizzle this over the salmon after you've cooked it and let it rest. And I think that's what I'm going to do instead of adding it back to the pan. Because I'm going to have to clean out that pan again. And then I'm just going to feel like I've dirtied a second pan for zero reason at all. Because if it's going to be heated up with the salmon, then why put it in a separate pan? But that's just my thinking. I'm also feeling like there's way too much liquid in these scallops. I don't know. Not going to be trying out for Gordon Ramsay's anytime soon. Yeah, not even close to having a good sear on those. I am starting to question the amount of butter that is in here. I suppose I could do what I did with the salmon. Not that that's going to help any. However, it is smelling really delicious. And this sauce, now that it's starting to warm up, it smells amazing. It smells like that perfect amount of heat and sweet. Hey Google, how much time is left on timer?
There's 31 minutes and 33 seconds to go.
Okay. So you know, potatoes don't have to be eaten with the meal, right? I honestly thought this would take a lot longer than it did, because the last time I tried to cook something similar to this, it felt like it took forever. But I also had tried a baking recipe, so maybe baking just takes forever. I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and stop though, let these scallops cook up, and we'll see if we have made it any further. Alright, so whether I was supposed to or not, I have flipped the scallops already, because I do know that if you overcook a scallop, it is going to be rubbery and gross and disgusting, and nobody wants that. Now, it appears as though my sauce has reduced enough, so I am going to go ahead and drizzle that over my salmon. I'm going to keep it whole for now still while it's going, and then I won't do my final cut until I go to serve, but I want it to be able to rest in this sauce and really soak up the flavors of the honey and the sriracha and everything. So we shall see how that goes. And I find it quite unfortunate that my potatoes might not be done in time. But it depends on these scallops too, because technically, you know, it says 1.5 to 2 minutes on each side until they have a golden crust. But if they're laying in a pool of butter, they're not going to get crust. So I'm just watching for opaqueness. Some of the ones up top that are in less butter might get a little sear. So I just keep checking to see how the undersides are doing every now and again, because the other side did get a little bit browned, but again, I don't want to overcook them because I know that that will make them rubbery. So I'm just checking for the opaqueness of them to make sure that they get a good consistent cook all over, which is what's great about cast iron too, because the heat is always going to be consistent no matter where anything is in the pan, which is what I love about these. However, I'm really thinking about draining some of these juices so that I can get a quick sear. I don't know. We'll see. They're getting there, it looks like, on color as far as their opaqueness goes. Got a couple that are falling apart, which may or may not be a good sign that we're not falling apart before. So we'll see, I guess. Maybe I filled the pan with too many of them, tried to do too many at once. But I think the flavor will still be there, as long as they're cooked all the way through. So now these ones up here are almost sticking a little. Maybe I will drain some of these juices out now that they've had the chance to cook in them. Because that just seems like a lot of juices if I want to have a sear. So let's see. Just take out some of these juices. That way they have a chance to truly sear. So let's spread them out again. See if I can't get a good sear on them. And then I'll take them off. I think I'm going to start cutting my salmon in half. Which, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to need my good knife, which is still in the dishwasher. We just got done doing dishes. Just want to get these all on their flat side. There we go. All right. Oh yes, that just cuts so nicely. I love this knife. It's probably one of the best knives that we have. The inside of this looks perfectly flaky. That sauce is amazing. Perfect amount of heat, perfect amount of sweet. So let's see. Let's see if I can't flop a piece over without completely destroying it. I know cutting it the way I did is not exactly the proper way. Okay, fine, we'll just slide you over. Whatever. And then off camera, I will get the juices over there too. Because again, I already just made a big old mess. So now that I hear some real sizzle, oh, that's so much better. So I think it was just too much juices. And now I'm just hoping that I haven't overcooked them so that they're not just pure rubber. Because that sear is looking a lot better now. Alright. So I'm going to do the finishing touches here and we'll be back. Alright, so I know plating can be a little bit better, but there is our salmon and scallop dinner. I'm really glad I didn't go with the bacon wrap. That would have taken so many extra steps. However, it probably would have helped with our poor potato issue here. Hey Google, how much time is left on timer?
You've got 16 minutes and 4 seconds left.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting there. They're a little browned, but they were also frozen. So I just want to make sure that they are totally done. It is about time for the big reveal. All right, guys, so I just led him into the kitchen so that we can reveal his delicious Valentine meal. Are you ready? Open your eyes.
Ooh, what did you make?
It is salmon with honey sriracha sauce and garlic butter scallops.
Ooh, scallops.
Yeah, it was interesting.
The I can imagine.
I
never made scallops before.
No, so, you know, I told everyone hopefully they don't turn out rubbery because it was actually really difficult to make. I'm afraid I overcooked them.
Well, we shall. I mean, it looks amazing.
Yeah. I'm excited though. The salmon turned out perfectly. Okay. Yes. So.
There's a baked potato box on the counter.
Yes. So, I thought it would take a lot longer to cook the stuffs. So I started the baked potatoes right away, but I also started the salmon right away. And the baked potatoes still have like 10 minutes left.
Oh, okay.
But I think we can still eat the baked potatoes after.
We shall.
Yay.
It's really, really good.
All right.
You did a good job.
There it is, guys. I hope you enjoyed.
All right, so I am back behind the camera. It was a delicious dinner, as you can tell by my empty plate and my puffy eyes.
Okay, in my defense, I have done shrimp so often, and he always has this reaction, okay?
Like,
so,
I feel like I'm sensitive to shellfish. I don't have, like, a full-out reaction. And this is something that has literally just developed over the years. But, like, my eyes almost have, like, an allergy-type reaction. Like, they get dry and itchy and kind of, like, puffiness.
So then in my sweetness, as much as I love shrimp, I decided to not do shrimp and do scallops, not fully realizing that scallops are also in the shellfish family.
I will gladly take my puffiness for the deliciousness that was this dinner. So what we got?
So we have twice baked potatoes, and they are bacon and cheddar.
Ooh, so have these. Did you save some room?
I hope I did. I couldn't eat all my salmon. It was so good.
And I
but it
noticed
was so
there's
filling.
something in the fridge on the top shelf. You must have tried to hide from me.
There is?
Yeah.
In the fridge?
Yeah.
On the top. Oh my gosh, I completely forgot! I forgot that I also did a baby dessert. Okay, so I knew that dinner was going to be super filling, and I usually also make a dessert, but I was like, well, we need something small. So I got strawberry white chocolate mousse for dessert.
Oh my Lanta. I noticed that when I was making the sausage biscuits and gravy. I'm like, hopefully she remembers it's back behind everything on the top shelf.
Yeah, no, I did not remember.
Because I didn't remember buying it, so.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go.